Good evening, Facebook Live. I am Angel Amoroso, and welcome to Undecided 2020. The election is over, but it really isn't. And Pennsylvania here is one of the reasons why it's not over yet. They're still counting votes here, and there's protesters down around Center City who have combined with the Walter Wallace protesters, and they're saying protesting to count every vote. So this was supposed to be over. Now they're saying not only can it take days, but maybe it can take up to a week or maybe even into the next year somehow. So, President Donald Trump has threatened to sue. He wants to stop the voting. He wants it to stop right now. There was a bunch of ballots. I guess they were dumped or something or set on fire, and some were flooded in some states. Whatever they did. So I'm pretty irritated, and I just want to talk about the irritants that led up to all of this. No matter who you voted for, we've all gotten that annoying mail in the door that congests our mailbox of posters and flyers and vote for me and vote for me. So I expected that it would end yesterday because it was supposed to be over yesterday. But today I received 3 Joe Biden big flyers in my mailbox, just clogging up everything. So, I decided, how do we get here? And what message did each candidate try to send while they were trying to lure you in to vote for them? So I decided that all the posters and flyers and everything that took up space in my mailbox for, the past few months or so, I collected, and I decided to read them and read their messages out loud to see what it is the candidates were trying to say and what messages got to you and touched you and made you go out and vote. Normally, this is not. I'm of an era that I'm not used to really talking about political opinions out loud, and this is something that everyone was supposed to shut up about political views and religious views and everything. Politically incorrect now is the normal for 2020. So, if you'd like to talk about who you voted for when you did vote and who you believe is in the lead right now and who's winning, regardless of any reports that you're getting from NBC or CNN or whatever it is, whatever outlet you choose to watch and listen to. Let us know who you voted for and who you think is ahead, and if you know the current numbers as I'm speaking. So let's and afterwards, I will go to the chat and I will read your comments. So please feel free to leave as many as possible while I get to the nice stack here I have of mailbox filling posters. So first we'll go back and forth. First we'll do Biden, then we'll do a Trump. So here we go. Paid for by the Pennsylvania Democratic Party. Strong, steady leadership to build back better. I'm going to show you this. Build back better. Wow. That's what they came up with there. Okay. Vote for Joe Biden on November 3rd. The U.S. Department of Defense visual information does not imply or constitute endorsement of the U.S. military, any military personnel, or the Department of Defense. Okay, well then, what they're... okay. The president has a duty to care for all Americans. Joe Biden is that president. From one crisis to the next, the Trump presidency has been chaos, ignoring experts and lying about COVID-19 instead of getting our country back on track. We need a strong, tested, stable leader who has a plan in place to build us back better and who isn't afraid to roll up his sleeves and get things done. We need Joe Biden. Joe Biden's plan, I'm reading this right off the thing. I'm not making this up. Joe Biden's plan: beat COVID-19 by expanding free testing and creating nationwide mandates so that everyone has to wear a mask in public. Eliminate the Trump tax giveaway for super wealthy and big corporations to make them pay their fair share. But Joe won't raise taxes on Americans making under $400,000 a year. Raise wages for working Americans, create good union jobs, and get small businesses back on their feet. I'm just reading this. I'm not going to give opinions in between. I'm just reading it. Lower healthcare costs by providing a bigger tax credit for working families and protect Americans with pre-existing conditions. Read Joe's plan at joebiden.com, Build Back Better. I'm not being partial here. I'm going to read everything on the flyers, posters, whatever you want to call them, sources from Washington Post, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So there goes a Joe Biden one. All right. And then, you ready? Here goes a Trump one. It's a hat. And it folds out. Very elaborate. And then here's the back. And we're going to read this from front to back. Make America great again. If you have not yet requested your general election ballot, apply online. And then they have the .com for that. Let's see here. President Trump is counting on you. Make a plan to request your ballot today. So this is a ballot request. Important notice, every vote matters. Every vote matters. This election will be decided only by a few voters. Your vote counts. One more in your neighborhood could decide this whole election. So I hope you voted. Patriotic duty. Millions of fellow patriots are counting on you and your vote. Request your general election ballot today. Pennsylvania for Trump victories. Now, it says make a plan to vote today. All this. See, beautiful work. As of right now, although Biden is claiming that he thinks that he has Pennsylvania wrapped up, Trump says that he has already, considered Pennsylvania a big win. So we don't know where this is going as of right now. I'm like turning my head to try to see a screen here with other people from other races that won in different states. But we have no time to get to that because I have a box full of flyers over here. So again, let's go to a Joe Biden flyer here. Joe Biden won't raise taxes on working families. Trump cut taxes for the super wealthy. You pay the price. There we go. And then there's a flip side. We'll read the flip side because we want both people to be heard. Working families won't pay a penny more in taxes. Joe Biden knows that working families are struggling right now, and that's why, as President Joe won't raise taxes on anyone making under $400,000 a year. Instead, Joe will end the Trump tax cuts for the super wealthy and big corporations and make them pay their fair share so that we can expand Social Security, lower the cost of health care, and invest in small businesses. Trump put Wall Street ahead of Main Street. Biden-Harris 2020, Build Back Better. Okay, so has everyone gotten the same ones, or am I the only one being bombarded with these? And still, I'm being bombarded with them. Okay, so Okay, this one's just a door hanger. President Trump wants you to make a plan to vote today. Even the door hangers look cute. And the thing is, it's funny that I found this one. Every vote matters. This is a fight for America. This is your chance to decide America's future. Every vote counts. Everyone in your neighborhood. It's a patriotic duty. President, like it's pretty much the same message as the one before. But I found this all ripped in the stones in front of my house. So I don't know if there was some shady shit going on around my neighborhood. I suspect that there was, that, people were taking signs off of people's lawns and then, taking their flyers and doing whatever. So that's not very cool, but, that's how they roll. So here's one that I received today. The day after today. Okay. So this one's for Joe Biden. Again, putting our families first. Biden understands our struggles because he lived them himself. After losing his wife and daughter in a car accident, Joe Biden raised his two sons as a single dad and newly elected U.S. Senator. Every day, he commuted back and forth between Washington and Delaware so he could be there for his kids. Okay, Biden has a plan for 12-week paid vacation medical leave. Joe gets it because he's been there. As president, he'll fight to make families live lives easier, not harder, with his plan for 12-week paid vacations for workers so that they can take time off to care for themselves, a new baby, or a sick loved one. Okay. Pennsylvania families count on Joe Biden for president, for working for families. So times are tough already, and we don't need presidents making them tougher. He says, who are these people who come up with this stuff as like to put, this is what you put on the poster to try to get yourself over? I know I said I wasn't going to give like personal opinions in between, but come on. Come on! Okay. We're going to get to some Trump ones. We're going to get to a Trump one. Okay. So, there's Democrats want to destroy the fabric of America. The left is mobilizing. The Democrat Party is responding. And the threat of disorder growing. Democrats want to weaken America's traditions by packing the Supreme Court and eliminating the Electoral College from the Constitution. The next generation is counting on your vote to save American values. The most important election in a generation. Don't let the Democrats steal the Supreme Court. And then we have this one. My husband didn't get to go to Walter Reed. My husband died alone in a county hospital. We thought Donald Trump would protect us. He couldn't even protect himself. COVID-19 has killed 210,000 Americans. Donald Trump was lifted by a helicopter and given cutting-edge treatment for COVID-19, a disease he said affects virtually nobody. Because of Trump's lies, millions suffer with grief, debt, and isolation. Donald Trump has no plan to end this suffering. This is paid for by the Lincoln Project, this one. And then we got here from the Visit the GOP here. Every single vote matters, fellow American patriots are counting on you to join the great American comeback. It has never been more important to vote. But that day is over now. I'm just reading the flyers that they sent for it. But, hopefully you listen to these. What happens with the Supreme Court will steer the direction of our nation for generations. We can protect our family values. We can defend the Second Amendment. We can uphold constitutional rights. So if you skip this election, you really fucked up. You should have made a plan to vote. Don't skip this election. It has never been more important to vote. Your future, it will decide the future of our nation and our children. So I don't mind, when they just ask you to vote. That's okay with me. All right. If you vote, we win. Make a plan to vote. To vote in person on Election Day, Tuesday, November 3rd. Hopefully you did. President Trump is leading the great American comeback. Your vote is needed now more than ever. Don't let the Democrats scare you out of voting because, voter intimidation at the polls and all that. This is the most important election of our lifetimes. Help decide our nation's future. All right. And this was, of course, this is a very important message because our future is at stake with everything that's going on. This shit is crazy. It's crazy. And if you didn't vote, what good are you? And here's a message from candidate Joe Biden. I won't raise taxes on working families. We're back to this. But we will make the super wealthy and corporations pay their fair share. Joe Biden. Working families won't pay a penny more. Joe Biden won't raise taxes on working families, but the super wealthy and the corporations will pay their fair share. Eliminate the Trump tax cuts, it's like the same thing that help the super wealthy corporations expand Social Security, lower the cost of health care by providing a tax credit for working families. So I'd like to know which one of these messages got you to vote, and which candidate did you actually vote for? Here's 11 million jobs added since June. The great American comeback has begun. Record jobs gain smashes expectations. This is from CNBC. You make a plan to vote. President Trump will strengthen America's economy. Bigger paychecks, better jobs, lower taxes. Trump will cut taxes by about $1.7 trillion. Biden would hike $4.3 trillion. Budget watchdog. Biden's tax plan lowers paychecks and puts Americans deep in debt. Biden's policies could increase the federal deficit by 8.3 trillion. 8.3 trillion. Remember that number, 8.3 trillion. Hey, I'm not making it up. It's right on here. So, and then from Joe Biden says, I'll rebuild our economy by putting working families first. Here we go again. Joe will prioritize working families, not the richest 1%. He has a plan for a 12-week paid leave for schools. A pandemic, school closures. It's no secret that times are tough and Pennsylvania families are feeling the squeeze. We don't need politicians making our lives tougher. That's why Joe Biden has a plan that puts our economy back to work for working and middle-class families, not the richest 1%. Joe knows families struggling because he lived them himself. We're back to this. He raised his boys as a single dad after losing his wife and daughter in a tragic accident. And that's why, as president, he'll fight for the 12-week of paid family and medical leave so people can take time off to care for themselves, and baby, and a loved one. I feel like I've read this before. Pennsylvania families can count on Joe Biden for president. Working families. 40% of families can't afford an unexpected $400 bill. It's time to build an economy that works for Pennsylvania. Well, some things you might be in agreement with, and then some things you may not. That's why you're one party or you're the other. So, okay, this one is, together we made America great again. Together we can lead the great American comeback. 7.5 million jobs added in the past 2 months. The largest middle-class tax cut in the generation. A stronger Pennsylvania economy. We can do it again. President Trump deserves 4 more years. Make a plan today to vote in person on Election Day, November 3rd. I hope you voted. I hope you voted. Together we made America great again. Your vote in 2016 helped make America great again. Together, we passed the largest middle class tax cut in a generation with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, delivering a tax cut of more than $1,400 to the average Pennsylvanian. Excuse me. We've added 7.5 million jobs in the past 2 months. President Trump's tax cuts, deregulated, and pro-growth policies help build a stronger economy for Pennsylvania's workers and businesses, bringing Pennsylvania's unemployment rate down to just 4.7% before the coronavirus fully hit. So your vote in 2020 will help lead our great American comeback. With your vote, President Trump can continue to fight for American prosperity. President Trump's tax cuts are projected to add nearly 49,000 new jobs over the next decade. President Trump can't do this without your vote. He deserves 4 more years, and I hope you went out and voted. There goes a little Trump action. I don't want to show my address on there, and I sure hope I'm not. And then we're going to get to a Biden. Joe Biden's plan, Build Back Better. And this one's a fold out. Okay, it's got a front and back. We will build back better. Biden-Harris. And this goes a little something like this. So, okay. All right. Put a little bit more into it. I just got this goofy picture. There you go. Joe Biden's plan to build us back better. As president, Joe Biden will combat the pandemic and help us build back better. He's going to fight the pandemic, like with swords and guns and stuff. This crisis has shown that it's nurses, teachers, and essential workers that keep this country going, not Wall Street. Joe Biden will implement a real strategy to take on the virus so that we can build back better. And it starts with helping working families and small businesses. Lower the cost of healthcare by providing tax credit for working families, eliminate the Trump tax cut, expand Social Security, allow Medicare to negotiate with drug companies to lower prescription drug costs. Did they spell that wrong? They did. Raise wages and protect good union jobs and benefit. But it's time for good working people to be paid fairly. Bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States and help small businesses get back on their feet. So, okay, it's a fold out, so at least a little bit better looking. Think about America. Think about the ones you love. Return your general election ballot. This is another one. Land of the free, home of the brave, family striving. Our family teams taking the field. Every vote matters. This is a fight for America, a battle for the Americans you love, the freedom, the family, a strong future. Join millions of patriots like you and make a plan to return your ballot, and visit the GOP. Make a plan to return your general election ballot. Support the great American comeback. All Pennsylvania voters are eligible to return their ballots by mail-in by November 3rd. And this is the reason why we're having such a problem right now. Because it's 2020 and we're running everything on mail-in ballots and what you can do online and social media and whatnot. And this is why there's, so many questions about, can this be a rigged election? Can people cheat? There were stories about people buying voting machines and, can this be rigged? Wall Street CEOs aren't on the front lines. You are. And this is paid for by the Democratic Party. This country wasn't built by those at the very top. It was built by working Americans. Now it's time to build America back better. This crisis has proven that nurses, teachers, and grocery store workers, that keep the country going, not Wall Street CEOs. We have the opportunity to rebuild stronger, and Joe Biden will get it done. Again, I swear it's the same thing, and it's the same message, and it's like, I gotta say, at least when I'm reading Trump's little ads here, sometimes the message is different. So, just want to mix it up a little bit. What does Joe Biden's agenda mean for you? Biden's record-setting tax increases will take your money and your job. 4.9 million fewer working Americans, $6,500 less in median household income, higher gas prices and energy bills. Oh, we're all looking forward to that. Save your job. Stop Joe Biden. The times are tough. The man is weak. If Joe Biden is elected president, a tidal wave of tax increases will crash down on Americans. It will devastate our economy, kill jobs, and destroy the middle class. This isn't just about what's written down. This is, come on. Did you vote? Who did you vote for? See, still, how people, it's funny because you can admit who you voted for now, and everyone is disowning families and unfriending people, and it's actually like, this is the thing to do now. You talk about politics, you talk about who you voted for, and you say why, and what got you down to the last day, and what was that last thing that you heard that was like, you know what, this is my decision, especially if you were one of those flip-floppers that was like, one side and then you went to the other side. Like, what did it for you? I'd like to know personally. So, join in. So here goes on. Joe Biden is the president who will take responsibility and lead us through a tough crisis together. Vote Joe Biden. President Trump made a huge mistake in downplaying this virus. There was a lack of leadership, a lack of responsibility, and a lack of resources. Jessica, the lost grandmother of COVID-19. That's the front of their little fold out. Oh, it's a fold out. Sorry, I didn't read it all. Let's go to the fold out. We need a president who will tell us the truth and listen to medical experts, who will need a leader. We need a Joe Biden. We need a president who will take responsibility and listen to the experts so we don't lose any more Americans like Jessica's grandmother from COVID-19. We need Joe Biden. Joe Biden has a plan to fight the virus. Joe Biden will get it done. Expanding free and fast coronavirus testing so that everyone who needs a test can get one quickly, creating nationwide mandates requiring masks in public, providing funding to the state and local governments so educators, firefighters, and other essential workers aren't laid off, improving our ability to produce masks and other protective equipment here at home, increasing funding to ensure that our schools and families have the technology needed to improve online and at-home learning. So I don't know what everyone thinks of the at-home learning system. And as far as the protective gear, I think everyone's working on getting protective gear to everyone. I don't think anyone's trying to hold that back at all. So, okay. Here goes. The great American comeback is in your hands. Make a plan to vote today. A lot of GOP, same thing. Stand up for the America you love and make a plan to vote today. Like, they made sure that they reminded you every day to vote. So if you didn't get out there and vote, that's on you. It really is. So our great American comeback depends on you. Make a plan to vote today. Our families are stronger today more than 4 years ago because of the Republican tax cut. Pennsylvanians are keeping more of their money and saw more jobs and new businesses investments in the Keystone State. Pennsylvania added over 200,000 209,000 jobs between November 2016 and February 2020, before the coronavirus hit the economy. That this includes more than 16,000 new manufacturing jobs. The average Pennsylvania saw a tax cut of more than $1,400 thanks to Republicans. The Republicans' tax cuts are projected to create 49,000 new Pennsylvania jobs over the next decade. 300 distressed communities in Pennsylvania have been designated as opportunity zones thanks to Republican tax cuts, which will help drive new investments to these areas. Pennsylvania businesses like PNC announced new bonuses and businesses for their employees as a result of the tax cuts. Pennsylvania families are seeing lower energy bills because of the tax cuts, with the utility providers in the state passing hundreds and millions of tax saving dollars to consumers. So when you vote, remember that the Republicans did this for you. All right? I'm not taking one side or the other. I'm just here to read the flyers there. So this is one from Biden, obviously. Trump's America. Chaos, violence, and fear. So, who are the people on the street creating the chaos, the violence, and the fear? Antifa? Who's Antifa? Oh, okay. All right. Trump's America. In Trump's America, far-right militiamen have taken to the streets. Trump cheers them, calls them very fine people. Trump knows that armed vigilantes will help him spread chaos so he can rule with fear. Every day Trump remains in office, they grow bolder. November is our last chance to stop them. A democracy, America, if we can keep it. So, this is again paid for by the Lincoln Project. So, if Biden gets elected, is all this nonsense, all this looting and protesting in the street and destruction of property and all this, is it going to stop? If Trump gets elected, is it going to stop? Is it going to stop either way? Or are we just escalating to something a lot larger, and then you realize that none of these messages leading up to this really counted, because, no matter what the outcome, there's going to be a huge problem. If you elect me, your taxes are going to be raised, not cut. The famous lines. Times are tough, the man is weak. Joe Biden is promising to raise taxes on day one, hurting Pennsylvania families and businesses. The Republicans, whereas, it doesn't sound like they want to hurt the businesses, and this one, he's going to, on day one. On day one. So we'll find out when day one comes. What's up? What's up? So this was just an early June 2nd, 2020. Got this mail here from the Pennsylvania Department. It's from Harrisburg there. It says June 2nd, 2020 is the new date for the Pennsylvania primary. All voters can now vote by mail. And to safeguard our vote, the Pennsylvania primary will now be held June 2nd. May 18th was the last day to update the voter registration. May 26th was the last day to apply for a mail-in ballot. June 2nd at 8 p.m. was the deadline to return your voted mail-in ballot. All Pennsylvanians can now apply for a mail-in or absentee ballot and vote from the comfort of home. It's fast, it's easy, also mobile friendly, and also the reason why we're held up here and we're still undecided 2020 in this election. So yeah, so easy. When they explained exactly how to fill the thing out and then how to mail it in and everything, come on. You're dealing with people now who are 18 years of age and up who are listening to do this and do this, like once you get to step two, they've already lost you, and then you've lost a voter pretty much because you told them to do more than one thing in instructions. So okay, here goes a Delaware Board of Elections. Your ballot is secure. This application will be sent to your local county board of elections, and once approved, they will send you an official ballot for the upcoming election. Remember, you can personally return your ballot or mail it back. This is from the Honest Elections Project. Patriots Vote. Your mail-in ballot application is inside. Vote early, vote now. Vote by mail. Election day is coming. All this fun stuff, right? So everybody had notice. So the Pennsylvania application mail-in ballot, just you print your name, about you, which is your birth date and phone number and whatever, your address, where to mail the ballot, identification, which it would include your PA driver's license, well, here PA. Last four digits of your social security number, which I don't like giving that out. That's kind of shady. Do your declaration, your annual mail-in request, help with this form, all this stuff if you need it. You got to print your name, whatever. And then they tell you how to submit the application, your deadline alerts, necessary identification, what is an annual mail-in ballot request with an explanation there. I'm not going to, go through that because if you vote, then you know what a friggin' mail-in ballot request is. You got this and you're probably reading it yourself. So that's, all they did to encourage you to vote. Here's another 4 more years of American prosperity with your one vote. Your vote in 2016 made America great again. 7.5 million jobs added in the past 2 months. Your vote in 2020 will lead the great American comeback, the largest middle class tax cut in a generation, a stronger Pennsylvania economy, with just 4.7% unemployment before coronavirus hits. That I don't mind to continue to read because that's all great news. The tax cuts that were projected to add nearly 49,000 new jobs. So again, Joe Biden's plan for the next 4 years, higher unemployment. The average unemployment rate was 7.5% during Obama's administration, more than double what it was in February of this year. Pennsylvania jobs lost. The trade deals that Joe Biden supported in his 44 years in Washington killed Pennsylvania jobs. Biden voted to normalize trade relations with China, which killed 136,000 Pennsylvania jobs. If anyone is keeping track of any of this. Higher taxes. Biden plans to raise taxes on 82% of Americans. There's no time for Joe Biden. So if you voted already, and let's hope you made your vote count. Raising our taxes from day one, shutting down the economy again. Joe Biden is the shutdown candidate. Biden vows to raise taxes on day one. Joe Biden has lost it. President Donald Trump is building the world's greatest economy again. $2,000 tax cut for the average family of 4. Rebuilding our economy and creating jobs. U.S. continues on the economic road to recovery under Trump. So hopefully you made a count. Now let's see who actually worked more on paper in my mailbox. Joe Biden's tax plan is going to kill jobs, and it might be yours. Biden would smother the economy by raising taxes. Save your jobs. Stop Biden. The times are tough. The man is weak. Joe Biden has a tough time remembering things. But as president, there is one promise Nancy Pelosi will make him keep, and that is to raise taxes on day one. Are we even going to talk about her? No. Not right now. If you want to talk about her, go ahead. Okay, so voting from home, make sure to vote for life because he can't fill out the ballot himself. It's got a cute little picture. I don't want to put my address on there. So, Donald Trump is against taxpayer funding for abortion, supports the ban on late term abortion, and will give us pro life Supreme Court. And also, that's of Mike Pence, vice president there, so all with the same. Joe Biden supports a radical pro-abortion agenda. Will fund with taxpayer dollars Planned Parenthood, America's #1 abortion provider, and will put pro-abortion judges on the Supreme Court. So, hopefully, you make your vote count, or you made your vote count, since it's supposed to be over right now, but it still isn't, because Pennsylvania is hanging in there, and just being Pennsylvania. And here we go. Joe Biden and the radical left are attacking our values. Their agenda is clear. Biden and the far left want to reduce funding for the police, making families less safe. They want to use their Green New Deal to destroy our jobs, raise gas prices, and make us dependent on Middle East oil. And Biden will give amnesty and health care to 11 million illegal immigrants who will compete for our jobs. Joe Biden and the radical left have turned their backs on us. What they left out at the Democratic National Convention, under God, they took out under God. Law and order. They took it out. Support our police. They took this out. They took it out. Okay. That's right. At the Democratic Convention, the Pledge of Allegiance was read with the words, under God removed. And with crime on the rise, no one mentioned law and order or support our police. Joe Biden and the radical left applauded themselves, attacked America, and once again turned their backs on us. So, how did you vote? They're trying to change every little detail of what we know as the United States of America. The United States of America. Joe Biden has embraced the policies of the radical left. Trillions in new taxes, crushing middle-class families. He says, if you elect me, your taxes are going to be raised, not cut. We already know that. We've heard that to beat the band already. Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants, reducing policy funds. Joe Biden's answer during an interview was, yes, absolutely, when asked if he would be redirecting police funds to other causes. Yes, absolutely, he says. Like, just defund the police and just throw it somewhere else useless. That's all. Biden, Sanders unveil progressive unity platform. Progressive, sorry. Don't let them take over America. Some people, I don't know. The radical left has taken over our jobs. Don't let them take over America. So, and we have, as Pennsylvania's economy recovers, Joe Biden said he would shut it down again and raise taxes on day one. Biden says he would shut down the entire United States and raise taxes on the first day as his priority. Day one, raising taxes. If you elect me, your taxes are going to be raised, not cut. Again, like, you can't really say it enough. You can't say that one enough. But Joe Biden wants to eliminate the Trump tax cuts, raising your taxes on day one. Will Joe Biden raise your taxes on day one? On day one, Joe Biden going to raise your taxes. Check mark. True, from the Miami Herald. That's why I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts. On day one, Joe Biden will repeal that tax bill, Kamala Harris says. Under President Donald Trump, the average Pennsylvanian family of four received a $2,000 tax cut. A tax cut. So you got one who wants to raise your taxes and the other one who wants to give you a tax cut. Democrats are attacking Americans' friggin' faith to steal the Supreme Court. All right. Vote to protect our family values. Vote to protect freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion. Judge Amy Coney Barrett has sworn to uphold, protect the Constitution, but her own First Amendment rights are under attack. Don't let the Democrats destroy American values. This was just one I wanted to read out because I know we're not going to get all into this right now, but yeah, we will at one point. Vote to re-elect President Donald Trump, the all-American president. Please join me and so many of your family, friends, and neighbors and fellow citizens in voting to re-elect Donald Trump. Thank you, Sincere Party. Thank you, Sincere Party. Thank you sincerely, the Tea Party Patriots Citizen Fund. Oh, how cute, the Tea Party citizens. All right, Tea Party. And here we go. Here's one from the National Rifle Association Political Victory Fund. Election alert. So there, I don't want to put my address up, but it's like one of these kind of just little cheapy flyers. It says, defend freedom, defeat Biden. Dear Pennsylvania, Second Amendment supporter, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the most anti-gun presidential ticket in our nation's history. They are coming after your Second Amendment rights and freedoms and individual right to self-defense. With law enforcement budgets getting slashed by anti-gun radicals, your rights to self-defense is more important than ever. If elected, Biden and Harris promise to destroy your right to self-defense, ban and confiscate lawfully owned firearms, tax and register gun owners, pack the courts with anti-gun judges, end America's firearm industry, and see for yourself at nrapvf.org, defeat Biden. All right? You have the power to stop their assault on the Second Amendment by voting Donald Trump for president. Donald Trump has steadfastly fought to protect our individual rights to self-defense by restoring the judiciary with pro-gun judges, deeming gun stores essential, defending rights to carry, opposing gun and ammunition bans, fighting firearm confiscations, eliminating gun-free zones. And Pennsylvania has expanded voting options for this election. For more information, they're giving you options to call Votes PA to do this, and also to vote for Heather Hindelberg for Attorney General. So that's a nice one from the National Rifle Association, as we are supporters here in this household, so we have no intentions on giving up our guns. The best is yet to come. President Trump needs you to act now. President Trump will always put America first by fighting for law and order, protecting us from the radical left, and leading our great American comeback. Support our great American comeback. Make a plan today. Fill this ballot out. The land of greatness. My fellow citizens, Americans' destiny is in our sights. America's heroes are embedded in our hearts. America's future is in our hands. And ladies and gentlemen, the best is yet to come. And that was from a speech from Mount Rushmore in 2020, July 3rd, given by President Donald Trump, who wants you to make America great again. He is counting on you to join the millions of fellow Americans to make America great again and make a plan today to vote. I will be an absentee voter. We have a lot of absentee voters. It works, so we are in favor of the absentee. Now, this was what President Trump said 7/30/20. And now it's a little bit of a problem. Now there's threats to sue, but that's because who knew all this shady stuff was going to go on. So this is a cute fold out. You know, the comparison in between the two in how they did their little vote for me freaking posters is just incredible. Like, the fold out just, it keeps going and going and going. All right, and this one is apply for your general election ballot today. Important notice, requesting your general election ballot is a safe way to secure and guarantee that your voice is heard. Your vote counts. It's your patriotic duty to follow millions of American fellow patriots on counting your vote, whatever. Return this general election ballot request form today. And this one, I don't know, seems like it's just a different way, I guess. It's not really bigger. President Trump wants you to return this form. To ensure general election ballot request is received, please do the following. Ensure all fields are completed, sign and date your form, fold, seal, and affix first-class postage, and mail the completed form to your County Board of Elections by 5 p.m. on October 27th, or return the completed form to your County Board of Elections office. If you have additional questions or want to apply for a ballot online, please visit votespa.com/apply mail ballot. Apply mail ballot. Whatever. President Trump wants you to return this request. Okay, so they made it real easy for you. They sent you 1,000,000 pieces of mail saying, come on, stay healthy and stay safe by voting from home. And when you do, be sure to vote pro-life candidates who will keep America's unborn children healthy and safe. Mail-in ballot application enclosed, and this one is from the Women Speak Out PAC, a Susan B. Anthony list. Vote like their lives depend on it. All of us here today understand an eternal truth. Every child is a precious and sacred gift from God. And that was said by President Donald Trump on the 47th Annual March for Life on January 24th, 2020. So, I just opened this just to get a little bit of the ballot information here. Life is on the ballot this November, and there has never been a clearer choice. Pro-life ticket goes with President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence. President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence are the most important pro-life ticket in American history. They deserve the support of every American who cares about protecting innocent human lives. President Trump being the only person who has fought so strongly and got so much done in child trafficking and all these sickening laws to go on. President Trump and Mike Pence administration has worked to ensure that babies that survive abortions are given medical care. Trump appoints judges who uphold the Constitution and the rule of law, not pro-abortion radicals. Now, the radical pro-abortion ticket, which is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the most pro-abortion ticket ever. Biden and Harris believe in abortion on demand up to the moment of birth. That means, a life is born, you smack the back, it starts crying, and then you're like, well, it's alive, but now it's dead. And they're all about that. So Biden and Harris believe on demand. including at 9 months, with your tax dollars they want to pay to murder babies. Biden pledges not to support any restrictions on abortion whatsoever. Biden currently supports federal funding for abortions by repealing the Hyde Amendment. Harris voted against and called a ban on abortions after 20 weeks immoral. Harris said support for Roe v. Wade was a significant factor in appointing the Supreme Court justices. Biden-Harris has been endorsed by Planned Parenthood Action and NARAL, N-A-R-A-L, Pro-Choice America, organizations which oppose any limits on abortion. So it means that you could just kill the child anytime. So there goes the ticket, pro-life, and pro-abortion. What side did you vote on? You murder, baby murder? Use your vote to save a life. Take action today to fill out your vote by request forms. They sent so many of these. You guys got no excuse. The unborn can't speak for themselves. Give them a voice. Pro-life. Give them a pro-life choice. It's easy to do. Here's how. Just fill it out and send it. That's how. Did you get enough of them? Did you send in a ballot, or did you go in person and vote? And what was your turnout like? What was your local office like? If you care to tell me who you voted for, that would be cool. I'm going to read your comments when I'm done here, so I'm kind of interested to know. And this was prior to all the flyers come in, was the Pennsylvania absentee ballot request form. So that was sent, and it's voting by absentee ballot is safe, easy, and secure. So there was the one absentee ballot, and this was the Pennsylvania primary election is on Tuesday, June 2nd. Your polling place has been changed. Okay, where I am, it was changed. Please remember to wear a face mask inside the polling place. It is a courtesy to your fellow voters and your neighbors working at the polls. They will be wearing face masks as well to keep others safe. All right. Did you apply to vote by mail? Your mail-in or absentee ballot must be returned to the county by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, June 2nd. If you have not mailed it in yet, you can still vote. Deliver your ballot to the Delaware County Government Office Center. There's a drop box inside the door. The door will be open for ballots to return until 8 p.m. on June 2nd, every ballot. Okay, well, this was in Delco, and they say, dear, I'm not going to say where I'm from, but dear precinct voter, as a result of the public health emergency caused by COVID-19, Delaware County has had to consolidate many polling locations. If you choose to vote in person, please know that your polling place has been temporarily changed. So this is only for the June 2nd primary election. You will return to your normal polling location in the general election in November otherwise. Okay, but it switched back and forth here because of the COVID. So, and here was the voter's guide, the helpful voter's guide. Vote November 3rd. This is from the paid for by the Faith and Freedom Coalition, whatever. The Joe Biden, yes on abortion on demand. Of course, Donald Trump will be no. Joe Biden would be yes on the $4 trillion in new taxes, and Donald Trump would not be for that. Joe Biden would be for the repeal of Obamacare tax, and Donald Trump would not be for that. Joe Biden would be for moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, and Donald Trump would not be for that. Joe Biden would not be for the withdrawal from Iran nuclear deal, and Trump would be for that. So Joe Biden would be for the Green New Deal, of course. And Trump would not, because he's not a fucking idiot. Flip flopped. Joe Biden flip flopped on the taxpayer funding of abortion. And Donald Trump says no go. He's not for it. Joe Biden is a big no on the Gorsuch and Kavanaugh for U.S. Supreme Court, and Trump votes a big yes. Joe Biden is no on the border wall, and of course, Donald Trump is a big yes on the border wall. Joe Biden is a no on school choice, and Donald Trump is a big yes. A big, huge yes. And excuse me, Joe Biden is no on moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. Donald Trump is a big yes. I'm sorry, I had to repeat that one. Okay, so another one paid for the Faith and Freedom Coalition. Blah, blah, blah. And this was President Trump's coronavirus guidelines for America to slow the spread. So when they're talking about like the president didn't do enough and he didn't warn people and he didn't send out this and that, like I got enough of these that I didn't keep them all. So here goes the one that I did keep. Says, listen and follow the directions of your state and local authorities. If you feel sick, stay home and do not go to work. If your children are sick, keep them at home. Contact your medical provider. If you are an older person or if you have serious underlying health conditions, stay home and stay away from other people. If someone in your household assesses positive, then keep the entire household at home. Work or study from home whenever possible. Avoid social gatherings in groups of more than 10. Avoid eating or drinking at bars and restaurants. Use pickup or delivery options. Avoid, discretionary travel, shopping trips, and local visits. Do not visit nursing homes or retirement or long-term care facilities unless to provide critical assistance. Always practice good hygiene. Wash your hands, especially after touching frequently used surfaces. Avoid touching your face. Sneeze or cough into a tissue or the inside of your elbow. Disinfect frequently used items and surfaces as much as possible. Even if you are young or otherwise healthy, you are at risk and your activities can increase the risk for others to get the coronavirus. It is critical that you do your part to slow the spread of COVID-19. Now, this coronavirus.gov from the CDC, and this is from March 16th, 2020. I got a bunch of those. I don't know who's saying that it wasn't tended to or there's not enough attention being paid to it and who's going to fight it and who didn't fight it. It is what it is, and now we're dealing with it, and we thought that it would be over like by this election, but whatever. You know what, we're going to, now that we're done reading all of that, we're going to get to some comments if we have any, just to see who joined us and whatnot. We understand that there is a bunch of different things happening in the world. We have transgenders that are in Delaware that are now representatives, and people of all different lifestyles and whatever coming out to represent each other. Okay, so let's see. Tim has joined us. Thanks for joining, Tim. Let's see. Yeah, looks sexy in a robe, open. Okay, we'll get to that on another show. Sean Rattray has joined us. Thanks for joining, Sean. Brad Hamlin has joined us. Thanks for joining, Brad. And Brad says the harassment that the American people had to endure with these flyers and attack ads were ridiculous on both sides. And this is exact. I'm glad that you said that, because this is exactly why I did this. It's been now it's still undecided. This is a day after, and I'm still receiving mail. I'm still receiving it, and I just wonder, you know, how many more I'll receive. It's a little late. The propaganda makes me sick. Yeah, it makes everyone sick. And it's a shame that people on social media and even people that still communicate in person have lost so many family members that have disowned them. People have killed themselves and committed suicide. I, read some messages from people that, awful stuff's happened to their family over this. People being obsessed with Q and all this stuff that just like, you're for it. You have to be interested in it. It's what's happening in the world, and it determines your future. But no need to unfriend people and dismiss people and disown people. I think that's going a little bit too far, because everyone has a right to their own opinion. Whether you're one side or the other should not determine then whether or not, because you have different values, that you're going to just dismiss your own family over these things. So this 2020 election has created probably more problems in the world than any other election ever. It's been the most disrespectful smear show on the planet. It's like almost sometimes you're watching it and you think that it was booked by Vince McMahon with some of the things that you're seeing and hearing, and the false finishes and everything are just like what we're in right now is like a false finish, and we're just waiting for the outcome. It's like, waiting at the friggin' free clinic and with the STD test. Like, is it coming back? Waiting to find out if you got fucking AIDS or something. I'm sorry to say it like that, but it's just so horrendous that this is happening right now. And no other election has ever been like this. The language is different. The whole tone of politics has changed. And everyone's trying to change everything. People are rioting in the streets and vandalizing people's houses in order to prove their points. And it's really just going to get worse. No matter who wins, this is just really, we're looking into the future here, and we're not looking at anything coming up that's going to be good. So Brad Hamlin also says it should be illegal to mention your political opponents. And Trump would be against a wrestler union, I would imagine. They should make those flyers out of toilet paper so the American people can wipe their asses with them at least. You know what, Brad? I agree with that. If they did make this out of toilet paper, then maybe all these selfish people that run out and start hoarding toilet paper wouldn't need so many, because as if you could see the pile on my floor over here of it, if this was toilet paper, I'd have enough to wipe my ass with for at least a fucking year. So they should probably the next time around, make it recyclable. It'll be like a nice thing for the earth to do for the earth. So Omen Raksha has joined us, and he says, you did they wrote in down, sister. Please be careful, okay? Stay safe, okay? And Brad Hamlin did vote. We don't get too many people saying who they voted for still. It's weird. One of the ones I got was a hologram. Okay, don't know what you're referring to that, but the flyers was a hologram. I'd actually like to see that. I didn't get anything that's even decent looking enough like that, like a hologram. I'd like to know what side that was. I can pretty much guess which side that was if there was a hologram on it. If it was that fancy and elaborate, I'm pretty sure I'm guessing correctly. And he also says, I personally don't like Trump, but it's not like his neck was on George Floyd's neck. Yes, and also it isn't like he created or released the coronavirus, which is a big argument on the left towards the right, is that you're really pointing the finger and blaming people for things that you can't use that here, or you shouldn't be able to, at least. um, Jeff Miller joined us and he said, Aloha from Hawaii. Aloha. Are you even paying attention to this or dealing with it? Because we are. And we are in Pennsylvania and dealing with the slow count, the count every vote protesters that are around City Hall as we speak, and waiting on Pennsylvania, because really Pennsylvania is one of the most important states if Trump wants to win. And of right now, I'm trying to look at a side TV now. No one gave me any numbers here, so not sure. The last time we checked, Biden was in the lead in numbers. So, and that was just like a couple hours ago. So I don't know what the current is, and when I turn this off, I'm going to go check right away and see if they've made any progress. But like they said, it could take days, it could take a week, it could take a month, and even into the next year because of Pennsylvania's little holdup with their mail-in ballots and everything. So we're still waiting for the final decision to see who is the new president in 2020 election. Who's going to be the winner? Is it going to be Joe Biden or is it going to be Donald Trump? Who did you vote for? Who do you want to see win? Doesn't matter. We're going to find out, soon, I guess, or later. But when I find out, then that's when everybody else will find out. You'll find out. And I'll be back to talk about the final decision and to, read what you think about the final decision. And until we get to the end of this little road, I'll see you next time on Undecided 2020. Have a good night.